Chapter 68, entitled Underscoring Meaning, Williams, of course they mean John Williams, and Music for Film. Actually, there's a famous classical guitar player. His name is John Williams, and I'm sure a lot of other people were named John Williams. But here we're talking about the film score writer. This has been a business forever to write music for films, right? Since the industry began. Unfortunately, the technology did not allow the audio and video to be simultaneous initially, so music was prepared in a different way for movies, and we'll talk about that here. So, regarding the key points, and this is no surprise to anybody, that a film's music sets the mood and helps establish the characters and a sense of place in a time. You can find examples of film without music and notice the difference. And gee, all you have to do is turn the sound off. And it's like, well, how boring is this? And of course, movies are made with the intent that there will be sound, right? Silent films were made with the intent that there would be no sound. So the acting is quite different. And sometimes it seems out of place now, but it's very convincing with the eyes and the facial expressions that you see in music from the silent films. And this was an art more than it is now. Regarding music for movies, right? There are two principal types of music in a film: underscoring and source music. And we're going to discuss the two differences between those. And of course, John Williams uses full orchestra generally when he writes music for films. And he's written so much music, and he has a team of people that work with him when he writes music. So it's a big business. He's not just one man with a pencil at his desk. And some have shown how he has borrowed music from many classical composers over time. And you can say, well, look at this music scene he used in this movie. And it's like, but look at this composer's music that was written 50, 60, 80 years ago, and see where John Williams got his ideas. Maybe that's not a big deal. And then the use of leitmotifs. We heard this and read about the study about this when we listened to Wagner's operas, that he used leitmotifs, where a melody represents a person, a place, a thing, an idea, and it's used over and over again, recurring, right? So regarding music for film, there has always been music performed to help to tell the story, right? The silent movies were odd as far as the technology of the audio and the video. Both the audio and video technologies were in early development. They did not do audio and video together as linked or connected technology. A specific music score was sometimes written for a movie, and of course this had to be performed live by an orchestra or a piano player at the theater. Other times it was up to theater to provide music for the movie that was now showing. It's hard to imagine how many careers and future careers were lost with the invention of recorded sound. It's staggering when you think about it. How many theaters had live music and live musicians working, and then clubs with musicians. Just amazing that these were good careers. Not necessarily everybody was going to be wildly successful, but you could have a job and pay the bills and do something that you like to do. Well, that career doesn't exist anymore. So at these theaters, right, someone is charged to put on music, and they, again, they might have music to follow from the movie producers, or they may just have cues to say, okay, over here, play scary music. When you get to this point in the film, play some sentimental music, et cetera, et cetera. And so the composers or the piano players would have music say, okay, I know what I'm going to play when I have to do this and do that. And then the music industry itself, rather than the whole a complete film score for a movie, they would write episodes, right, to be used in appropriate scenes. Again, funny music, scary music, sad music, chase scene music, dramatic music, on and on. And the Little Rascal movies, if you've seen those, are like that, right? Each of the movies has the same music. It's just the appropriate music at the appropriate time. So the difference between source music and underscoring. Source music is movie music that you see the source of the music in the movie. You see a marching band and you hear a marching band. You see an LP record playing and you hear the LP record. You see the wedding band and you hear the wedding band, etc. Now, underscoring is music where people are out on the ocean, stranded in a boat, and you hear an orchestra playing, right? Well, it's like, where's the orchestra? It's music that helps tell the story by creating drama, excitement, chase music, love scene music, etc. You don't see the music being performed by an orchestra, although you hear the music being performed by an orchestra. And then, of course, the other term here in movie music is leitmotif, which is very important, right? Remember the music from the movie Jaws represents the shark? First time you see the shark, it's don, 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 don. And the next time you don't even see the shark, and the guy is shaving, you hear the music, dun, dun, dun. You're already grabbing the arms of the chair, right? Because this is a leitmotif. And the same thing with a lot of the movies, the Star Wars movies. Many movies have that, leitmotifs. Most movies wouldn't be what they are without the music. And although there have been movies made with almost a complete lack of music to make a point, all right, or to create a environment. Again, underscoring source music, leitmotifs, Lord of the Rings, of course they had music. Now, John Williams, right? He's a contemporary biggie as far as writing music, and we said about him already that he was born in 1932. So in the 1950s, he was already, 40 through 52, in his 20s, late 20s, he's writing music for a TV series. And how many movies has he written music for? Well, over 90, and probably still writing, right? And again, he's borrowed ideas from many different styles and composers. Here he is, John Williams. Of course, we talked about the Star Wars and the multi-films. And when we talk about Wagner, remember Wagner wrote this opera cycle where he had 4 operas to tell one story. So the Star Wars people are not the first to do that with multiple films to tell one story. Great idea, though. And we're going to sample the Imperial March, right? Which is the ominous Darth Vader theme. So what do you expect from that music? It's program music. It tells a story. It evokes emotions of character, right? Dark character, minor tonality. Okay. The guy with the helmet. From the movie The Empire Strikes Back, this version. I don't know if they use the same in different movies. All right, here is the music. an interesting thing, when they record the soundtrack for the movie, they have in the back a big screen of the movie without the music, and with an orchestra just like this, the conductor watches the movie and he conducts the music to make sure it's coordinated with what's going on in the movie. Oh, I want to play example of this music. This is from a movie called Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and this is the breakfast scene. This is also a very famous music composer for films, Danny Elfman. And here we're going to actually see the scene instead of just watching a concert performance. And the music is just spectacular, how it fits in with what's going on with the movie. So here we have an example of source music. You see that he gets up in the morning, the character, and he puts on a record, and you hear the music start. So that is source music. And then it's interesting because the scene moves on, and he moves away from the record player, and then a real orchestra starts to play, and not the record player. So now it becomes
Look out, Mr. Potato Head!
Morning, Spud. Me too. Come on, let's get some breakfast. Come on.
Mad Dog!
Music for video games is a huge um, source of music, right? And some video game music is now being treated as standalone music because it was just good stuff. And then here is a picture it shows in a book, and I don't know what this has to do with movie music, but it shows, and this has evidently been done at a number of universities where they have laptops, and these are their instruments, and then they have a conductor, and they make music with their laptops, electronic music, spontaneous. Well, it's not entirely spontaneous because you have a director and somebody has a plan and they execute it, but it's a lot of subject to chance, right? Now, I want to play a excerpt from a large movie, right? And the movie is called Safety Last, and the actor is Harold Lloyd. And this is a very famous scene. It takes about 6 or 7 minutes. And I want you to watch it so you can appreciate the entertainment and the quality of the acting and the photography and the whole work of art of silent movies. And in this case, the music is being performed now. And this is a lot of the old silent movies because we don't know exactly what music was used. And we know that somebody did play music, and depended on who the person was, the music would be different for every performance. So this is one of those experiences where the music is being performed by an individual now. Now, I don't, and I'm sure that they're watching the movie and they're performing and coordinating things. So take note of that. But nevertheless, enjoy this very entertaining section from this larger from the movie. And that movie is from 1923. So that concludes our chapter 68 on film music.